Welcome to La Cuisine de Chlorophyll. For those who don't know chlorophyll, we are an animal advocacy group, nonprofit, here in the South Bay of San Francisco. And we have also a micro sanctuary. I say micro because this is a tiny little sanctuary, and we have right now 1 dog, 2 turkeys, and 7 chickens that all have been rescued from either the meat or the egg industry. So one of the things we do is we do a lot of human education. We go to schools, we go to summer camp, we go to the community center and talked about farmed animals. And one of the big piece of that is food, right? Because food is really the solution, and that's how I see it. So today we are going to focus on how to veganize, your favorite recipes, because you don't have to throw away all your, previous recipe, your grandma recipe, and family recipes because you want to eat more plant-based. So I'm going to show you how to veganize them, and I'm going to focus mostly on the dairy and the eggs. So I want to introduce you my friend, Carrie. She's my best friend. She is living here in Mountain View. We've been doing, I don't know, everything together for a while. She's a master gardener with me. So we are spending a lot of time in the dirt. Yes, 10
and a half years.
So what she's going to do, she's going to monitor the chat. But since I can't hear you, she's going to basically be in my interface with you guys. So when you have a question or you want to ask anything, type it in the chat. Carrie will read it to me, and then I can answer if I can. Okay, well, I think let's start. I'm going to start with eggs, and this is. The reason why eggs are so important to me, or replacing eggs are so important to me, is because of the chickens I rescue and the chickens you will see at the end. When you look at the condition they grow up in, it's like, yeah, you don't want just to eat the eggs anymore. So how to, make cakes and have scrambles, egg scrambles and all those yummy things. So here I put just like some simpler replacers. I'm taking my notes with me. You can replace eggs by many different things depending on the recipe. One of my favorite is flaxseed meal, so they are grounded, and I'm going to demo that in a minute. Because eggs, if you think about it, how they are used into baking, it's really they're used as a binder. They hold together the flour and all the other ingredients. So that is going to make a very nice binder. Another thing that's really nice and adds some moisture into your cake is just using fruits. So applesauce is one of my go-to because it's not a very strong flavor, but you could use a banana, any kind of pureed fruit. You could simply buy an egg replacer, and they have the direction here where they say 1 tablespoon of the egg replacer for 2 tablespoons of water, and that would be the replacement for 1 egg. By the way, if you use any fruit, pureed fruit, that would be 1/4 of a cup per egg that you want to replace. And then there is, of course, the tofu. Tofu, it's based on soy. It's like doing everything in the kitchen. If you buy silken tofu and puree it, and also use a 1/4 cup of it, then you could replace 1 egg. Very easy, very good binder. So, and I've used that for basically everything that is very eggy. And actually, I'm going to make you a demo with. I'm going to do egg scrambles with tofu to show you. But you could make a quiche, you could make crepes. I mean, a lot of vegan recipes call for that. So really easy to replace. Another product that I love, it's called Just Egg. It's made with mung beans, so pretty high in protein. I mean, so is the soy. This is just come in liquid form. So you would pour it and 12 flours, basically there's six eggs, and they could have 6 eggs in there. So you would use that as you use, egg. This is my go-to when I make quiche, when I make crepes and things like that. Okay, so let me show you, I talk about flaxseed first. So the way you make an egg with flaxseed is you take a tablespoon of grounded flaxseed. That's very important. Don't use, the seed, the whole seed. They need to be ground. And then you put you put 3 tablespoons of water. Up. You stir that, and you wait for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to leave it, so now it's kind of just liquid, and we're going to come back to it in about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, I want to show you another way to replace egg in a lot of baking. And that would be to use milk. So I'm using soy milk. I'm going to talk a bit more about that, but this is soy milk from Trader Joe. And I really like that brand because if you look at the ingredients, you just have water and soybean, so nothing else. And milk, I'm going to put about a cup of milk. In the glass. And then I use apple cider vinegar. So I use an acid, and I want 5 teaspoons. And guess what's happening if I put acid in the milk? It's going to curdle. And you see the milk, how it's thickening? And I'm making basically buttermilk with just plant. And this is becoming a very nice binding agent too. So very good for binding. You could replace that. You could use that when you make cupcakes, cakes, anything. I'm going actually to use that in another recipe a bit later on. Talking about cupcakes, my favorite cookbook for cupcakes is called Vegan Cupcakes Take Over the World. It's by Chandra Moscovich and Terry Hope. Really amazing book. And they use that technique a lot. Okay, so let's go back to our, okay, so it's not yet 5 minutes, but it started to thicken a little bit. Going to leave that a few more time. This is what I use. So I have this recipe from Peter's grandma. We call her Mumu. And so it's Mumu's cake we make. And there is a lot of eggs in it. And so we've replaced it with this flax egg. And I remember when she was still alive, we told her how we veganize her cake. And she was like, no, that's not possible. You make my cake without egg and without milk and without butter. And she never had the chance to taste it, our veganized version of her cake, but we are still doing it and thinking about her when we do. Okay. And yeah, that's my carbon work. Okay, next, I want to show you, I want to talk to you about one thing we do a lot in baking. And if you like, to make like fancy pie. There is a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me, how much ground flax to 3 tablespoons water?
That was 1 tablespoon flaxseed, ground flaxseed. You could also use chia seed. I also have that, binding information. Yes. Other questions?
Nope, that's
Okay,
it.
thank you. So when you make a pie or cake or some pastry, sometimes you like to have this, to have the top shiny, and you use an egg wash. So the way to do that with plants is you would use a plant-based milk, and I would use my soy milk, and then add some sugar in it. And the best way I like to add the sugar is through agave syrup or maple syrup. You like to add a liquid syrup, so it mixes really well with and the proportion are about 2 tablespoons of plant-based milk with 1 teaspoon of agave or maple syrup. Maple syrup is a little bit darker, so you have to be careful because it may turn, come out very dark and look like it's burnt, although it's not. But I like agave a bit better. Okay, I'm going to now to do tofu scramble. So the tofu is still in the fridge, so I'm going to go there. So what I did there, what you see there, is a tofu press. So tofu has quite a lot of water in it. So you want to remove as much water as you can before using it, because it's so porous that that if you press out, then it's going to absorb more all the flavors of the things you're going to cook. So this is my tofu. This is all the water I got out.
And how long did you press it for?
So this one I put it in the fridge at lunch, but if you do even 5 minutes before doing your recipe, it's already very good. Okay, so let's do a tofu scramble. So I have a pan on my induction top. I'm going to heat it. Oh, thank you, better. This can go 0. Yep. Okay, I'm putting a little bit oil. This is simple olive oil. You can use whatever you like. I'm just going to put my tofu in there, and then I'm just going to squish it. I'm using my thing to mash my potatoes.
And what kind of tofu are you using?
So the one I'm using is the firm tofu. I get the brand, I buy the brand from Trader Joe. I can show you in a minute. But the firm tofu for that recipe, any firm tofu will be good.
Not extra firm.
That will work too. not just a silken tofu.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the cool thing about tofu is, well, not only it's like super high in protein, good proteins, but it also kind of have the texture of the scrambled egg. Okay, so I'm warming that a little bit up, and I'm going to add spices. Things to it to make it taste a bit more like egg. So the first one is going to be nutritional yeast. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. I was not until I became vegan. This is very different from the baking yeast. This one is not live. This is yeast, and it smells like it's nutty flavor a little bit. I don't know how you would describe that.
Yeah, it's kind of real earthy.
Yeah, so it's called umami flavor.
That's good.
So it's one of, you have all those flavor like sweet and sour, and umami is basically the flavor you find in a lot of animal products like meat and cheese and eggs. It has like that, like you say, the earthy flavor. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of that.
And isn't that also good on top of popcorn?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can use it in many. I mean, when we are going to talk about dairy, if you want to give the cheesy taste to any sauce or any dish, that's great. I'm going to add some salt, but instead of using regular salt, I mean, regular salt would be totally fine, but you could use the black salt, also kala namak. It has some sulfur taste, and I don't know if you can smell it. It's I mean, it's subtle. It will go in, but basically it has the flavor that eggs have, right? I mean, for me now, an egg is stink like sulfur. So how much of that do I want? A half teaspoon.
And where would we buy that?
I mean, now you find it in a lot of stores. For sure, like if you go in Indian store, they will have it. But I mean, if you go to Whole Food, they will have that.
Can I steal that? I want to write down the name of it.
Oh, yes.
For everyone. Thank you.
What else do I want? Okay, now eggs are more yellowish. So, I'm going to use turmeric. Just a quarter teaspoon. Turmeric is nice also because it has a lot of, good nutritious value, healthy. And then I like garlic, so I'm going to add some garlic powder. Oh, this is a new one. Oh. It's open.
That always happens to me.
There we go. We'll fix that later. Okay, so now I'm just going to mix that, make sure all those good flavors are mixed with the tofu. Whoops. I'm sorry, this is live. So things fly in the kitchen. So I'm on medium high on my induction cooktop. It's really a pity the video does not carry the smell, because it's starting to smell really tasty. And then you can, of course, taste and add salt or pepper. I'm not going to add pepper there because I did that. I'm going to add vegetables at the end in it, and I already add peppers in them. Okay. So I think it's been there for 5 minutes or so, not really, like 2 minutes. Okay. So meanwhile, I prepared some veggies so it's red bell pepper, mushrooms, and spinach that I'm going to add to my scramble. But one thing I'm going to do, and this, you don't have to do that, but if you like your scramble not too dry, but a little bit more, I don't know, softer, moister, I'm going actually to add some soy milk in it. Not much, a couple of tablespoons when this is cooked. So here you really want to cook. I mean, the tofu you could eat it raw, but it's more to get it warm and especially to get all the flavor to develop. Has anyone ever done egg scramble? I mean, tofu scramble before?
Yes, Jan Stevenson has.
Yeah.
So is Jackie B.
Okay.
And Davy.
Yeah, well, actually, if you go on my website, like Cuisine de Chlorophylle, where I have a bunch of recipes, there is Davy in her kitchen making a very nice scramble. Awesome. And I think she had like garlic and ginger, like a lot of very good flavors.
Yum.
One thing, I mean, you could do, I mean, what I would also sometimes do is take the just egg. sorry, I'm moving out of the, and you could do that also with a just egg, you know, you like pour it there, add, you don't really need to add either the umami nor the turmeric because it's already, you know, kind of in there.
Oh, okay.
And then, you know, scramble it. Okay. They say cook and stir for 5 minutes, but in the interest of time, I'm going to say it's good. And so I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of my milk. 1. And this is really just to moisten. And now is going to be the time where I add my veggies in it.
Yeah, Jan just said, always looking for more ways to make a tofu scramble.
Yeah.
So many possibilities.
Yes, absolutely. And then, I mean, it's a scramble. So you really add what you like.
Yep.
I didn't add onions. You could do that. Add more garlic. Put whatever veggies you have in your fridge that you want, you know.
Whatever's out in the garden if you're growing.
Yes, yes. Look how pretty it is.
That looks beautiful. Smells better.
Yeah.
Are veggies pre-cooked? Yes, they are.
Yeah, so I cooked all the veggies ahead of time.
Is there basil in there?
No, this is spinach that you see.
Spinach.
Okay. So here we go. You want to have a try?
Sure, a bite.
Okay. Let me get a little spoon, plate. You get the fork. Need to switch it up. So not only you're my assistant, but you're also my taster. There we go.
Let's see. It's very hot. This is excellent.
Yeah. Did you ever add a tofu scramble?
I've never had a tofu scramble. This is really, really good.
Good.
This is awesome.
I know. And you see how easy it was to make?
It was excellent.
So that's the thing is, you know, I mean, one of the things is sometimes when we think about vegan food, we think it's complicated and, you know, it takes time. You have to spend hours in the kitchen. I mean, this
That's
one
just
I
like
did maybe
making
10 minutes.
Yeah, that's just like making a regular scramble.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is excellent. Thank you.
So keep it and you can finish it. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is how to make a staple in the kitchen, and it's the mayonnaise. I'm married with a Belgian guys, and they put mayo everywhere. I mean, when I met him, he was eating his salad with mayo. Well, he does not do that anymore, but still when there's fries and when there's, you know, a lot of things, the mayo comes to the table. I mean, I'm joking. I'm not really joking, but I am putting butter everywhere as a French person, so. Okay, so let me show you how to make mayo. And I discovered that, I mean, you can, of course, buy mayo. There is a lot of different brands there. Veganize is one of the nice one I like. But I discovered recently how to make my own. And I want to show it to you because you will be blown away. It's so fast. Okay, so first you need milk. So this is soy milk. This is actually half a cup of soy milk. The reason it is in this jar is because it has been at room temperature for the last, you know, hour or so. So it's like really room temperature. And this is key to the process. Don't take cold milk. Okay, then I'm going, well, okay, before I do that, I see my little, so you see now how creamy and gelatinous my flax egg is? So now it's ready to use in a recipe. So super easy way to replace an egg. Okay, actually I need that tablespoon. So I'm going to rinse it. Whoops. Okay, so I like my mayo to have a little mustardy flavor. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of mustard. And same thing, I took out of the mustard out of the fridge kind of an hour ago.
Now, is that a Dijon mustard?
Yes, yes. It's a Dijon mustard from Trader Joe. I'm a big fan of Trader Joe. I'm not sponsored by them, but I use a lot of their product. Then I'm going to use some of the apple cider vinegar because I want to basically, maybe I've used that milk, but I want to curdle that milk. So I'm going to put 1.5 teaspoon. So this is 1, 2, maybe a little bit too apple cider. Then I want some salt. Excuse me, I need 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon salt, and then oil, of course. So, you know, I mean, a mayo usually is you take the egg yolk and then you beat it with oil and then it goes up and make a mayo. So basically here, this is my egg, right? So I curdle the milk. I added some mustard, nothing to do with the egg, just for the taste. And now I'm going to put the oil. So in that recipe, I need about a cup.
And what type of oil are you putting in?
So I'm using, you want a neutral oil. I'm using safflower. You could put some olive oil if you like the taste, but don't make it only olive oil. Put only like a little bit of olive oil because it's pretty strong in taste. So you could do, you know, like 3/4 cup of a neutral oil and then add 1/4 cup of olive oil. Okay. So I put the soy milk and the apple cider vinegar. You have a question?
How much soy milk was that?
1/2 cup. 1/2 cup soy milk that I curdle with 1.5 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Then I added 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a cup of oil. And I use safflower.
People share the recipe.
Yes, well,
I will share all those recipes online. Yes.
So we don't have.
I will send you an email, actually, a follow-up email.
Yeah. So everyone doesn't have to write down the recipes.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Then you use a blender. I'm using my stick blender.
Noisy.
Well, it's noisy, but it's going to be
They're
super
good.
fast. I'm putting to the highest speed. And that's where the magic is going to be happening.
Okay, everyone, watch.
So, yeah. So one thing I want to say is it took me several tries to find the right size of the jar to do everything in it. Because the first time I tried a smaller one, it went all over. The other one was too big. So now I can fit my whole stick in there. Ready? Go. Here we go. That's it. I have mayo.
That was fast.
That's super fast. I have, it's good. I mean, I can't give you my
That's okay.
So here we go. The emulsion process is really, really fast. And the fact that I add everything at room temperature is key. If your milk or one of the ingredients is too cold, it's not going to work. So now this is great because
Soy milk.
and it has to be soy milk. Yes, thank you, Peter. Soy has a very particular, it works only with soy milk.
And
I try with almond milk and just
that's soy's the winner.
so
And
soy is the winner.
how long can we store this mayo? And we store it in the
So I'm
refrigerator?
putting that in my fridge, and few weeks, like three weeks, and with Peter, that goes fast.
It'll be gone tomorrow.
Maybe not, but it goes in a week.
So it makes about a cup.
So do I have a sign there? So this is 1 cup, so a bit more than a cup. Yeah. Yes, that's 1 cup. So it's just a bit more than a cup. Well, I put a cup of milk, of oil, and 1/2 cup of milk. So 1.5 of liquid things. Okay, so mayo, really, really cool. And you know all the ingredients, very simple, right?
Yes, Mary Alice is asking, will it stay blended in the fridge?
Yes, yes. So this is why the emulsion has to happen right. And going fast, with a very fast blender, having the things at the right temperature is key. And that emulsion is not going, things are not going to fall apart. So it goes in my fridge now. With the other part of mayo.
Peter's stocked up.
Okay, and of course, mayo is really a base for many sauce. You could make an aioli with it. So basically, you just add. Actually, I make my mayo like that, and then if I want to make an aioli, I take some of that mayo in a little pot, in a little bowl, and crush garlic. Add lemons if I want to. If I want to make a tartar sauce, I would add pickles, caper. Chopped pickles, capers, herbs like tarragon or dill, and some lemon juice. And you have a tartar sauce. If you want a cocktail sauce a bit more fancy, you put some whiskey in it with some ketchup, and you can serve that. So, this, the possibilities are endless. And so here I showed you the eggs, how to replace them, and especially I hope you can have a feeling of how to veganize an existing recipe, that call for egg.
I have a Daphne is asking, are these essentially the same ingredients that a commercial vegan mayo use?
Well, they would, yes, the base, yes, but then they will use a lot of preservatives.
That's true. Keep it on the shelf.
Yeah, and they use different type of emulsifiers, and so it stays longer. But yeah, this is the base of. Also, when you want to make a vegan dish, let's say, for example, something like deviled eggs. So obviously, you're not going to be able to make the egg white and then, the yolk on top. But you think, you can think a bit out of the box. And I found that recipe where you use potatoes as the egg. So you buy kind of egg-shaped Yukon potatoes, bake them, cut them in two, carve them. So that base is going to be your egg white, if you want, and then use the inside of the potato, puree that, add some cashew cream. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Add some cashew cream, and then add the things that makes the eggy taste, like I did on the tofu, turmeric, the special black salt, and some nutritional yeast if you want a bit the umami flavor. So you could play, a lot and a variation of existing foods. Okay, any question about the eggs in general and how to replace them? Because now I'm going to move on to the dairy part.
Any questions?
We are pretty good on time, so that's good.
We're moving on.
Okay, so I'm going to move there, Peter, because I have a little display that I put together for you showing the milk. So we have 3 different types of milk from Forager, it's oat milk, another oat milk from Oatly. I have the one you just saw from Trader Joe, which is soy. There is so many milk, plant-based milk out there that really the best is you buy a few and try. You just don't, buy one and you say, oh, I don't like it, and then that's it. So really try several of them. I like to organize sometimes a tasting workshop where I actually have a lot of different milk, and then people are in person with me and they can taste and see the one they prefer. But so do that. You could also make your own milk, and I've done that a lot using nuts. And I'm going to show you how to do that because it's magic. It's really magic. And I love cashews because I like creamy, rich milk. And cashew is one of the nuts with a lot of fats. So that's why I like it. But usually, otherwise, if I drink milk, like a glass of milk with my cookies, I would go drink Oatly. I like the taste and the texture. Now it has a lot of ingredients on the side. So when I cook, I prefer to use, or bake, I prefer to use the soy milk from Trader Joe because really there is only 2 ingredients. And this is actually Carrie that brought her forager because that's the one you use. And there is also very, like, only 4 ingredients, which is pretty impressive for, yeah. Okay, so one thing I want to tell you before I make the milk about this, about all those plant-based milk is if you add any acid to the milk, I mean, they are in presence of acid, they tend to curdle way faster than dairy milk. Then it means that if you, for example, pour some milk in your coffee, then it will curdle. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't like those vegan milk because they curdle. And this is why there are some brands, I mean, some products, some creamers that modify, I mean, that make that this milk does not curdle as fast with acid. And this, so those are the 2 brands we like, the Barista Edition from Oatly. And then the one next is Son. It's an organic oat creamer. And this is also Carrie's favorite.
Yes.
So
just the unsweetened, though, they do have other ones now.
Yeah. So so that's what it is for milk. So I'm going to show you how to make milk. Actually, I'm going to show you how to make cream because it's exactly the same recipe, just the ratio of water and actually, I'm not going to use those. I have a pack open here. Those are raw cashews. I buy them at Trader Joe because this is the cheapest place to buy nuts because they tend to be a little bit expensive. So I'm going to use a cup of cashew.
And these are raw and salted.
Raw and salted, yes. Yep. It was half a cup, yes. Did I say 1 cup? I'm sorry, it's half a cup. And then I'm going to add a cup of water. So here the ratio is 1 to 3. Do I do my math right?
1 to 2.
1 to 2. Well, one nut and 2 water.
Glad everyone's going to get the written recipes after.
if you wanted to make milk, you just do 1 nut for 4 water. So just basically more water. Okay, I have a super strong blender. It's Blendtec. Vitamix has also very good blenders. If you don't have a super strong blender, soak the nuts before. Like put them in the water for a couple of hours or overnight, so they're already soft. Now you will see it's really strong, but it's really loud too. So while I'm going to blend, you're not going to hear anything because Zoom cut the noise, the extra noise. So yeah, don't stay there for a minute. Ooh, I'm back. Okay, so this is how you milk nuts. Look at that. I mean, Can you believe that, you just blend nuts with water and here we go, you have
It's a
milk
beautiful,
cream.
nice and creamy.
It's really nice. Okay, so what I want to show you now, so you could use that as heavy cream, wherever a recipe called for heavy cream, that would be great. But now, because I use cashew, there is a specific property of cashew that I want to show you. Cashew has both the fat that I mentioned, but also a lot of starch. So I'm going to make a white sauce with it. So how do you do white sauce normally? You put some butter, you put some flour, and you put some milk. Well, the butter is the fat is in there, the starch that you would add with the flour is there. So basically, I'm just going to add the cashews, heat that on my stove. Okay. And I'm going to make it really hot. Normally you want to do it a bit slower, but for the sake of time, I'm going to make it hot. So I'm going to really be careful so it does not burn. I'm going almost to bring it to a boil. But don't do it slower. Just so you want to warm it. So you see liquid, pretty liquid. Ooh, look, it started to thicken already.
That's
you see
fast.
the viscosity? Well, I'm doing it a bit too hot, but I want to show you how. So that's the magic. I mean, you're making cream now. And in French, we call that béchamel sauce. Here you call it like white sauce. And then where do you use a white sauce? Top of pasta, in when you make lasagna,
Yeah,
like in a layer.
Actually, I was just thinking of some giant portobello mushrooms stuffed with some good stuff and then maybe put a little of that over it.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, it's starting to really thicken at the bottom. Okay, so I'm almost there to the consistency I want. Now I'm going to add flavors. So what do I want that sauce to be? So let's say I'm going to make it like Alfredo sauce on my pasta. You see how thick it is now? Actually, it's really, I don't really want it to be thicker. So I'm going to stop it. And now I'm going to add the flavors. So what I want salt and pepper because that's going to be a savory thing. So that's the salt, the pepper. I have the salt over there. A pinch of salt, or how much salt you want. I don't know about you, but I love the taste of nutmeg in those kind of sauce.
Definitely.
A little bit of that. And then because it's going to go on top of pasta, I may want a cheesy flavor. How do you do that? Nutritional yeast is your friend. And here I'm going to add about a tablespoon of it. And I'm mixing all that. And you can
What was
see,
that penny spice at Penzi?
What, this one?
Oh, yeah, we're just talking.
Nutmeg.
Yeah.
Okay, and here we go. I have bechamel sauce, a cheesy sauce that I can totally use on top of my pasta. I use that actually in a lot of recipe. I mean, as you know, I'm from France and we do use cream everywhere. I mean, you could just roast vegetables in your oven and pour that on top. That would be really good. You know, like a gratin or something. Okay, so here we go. I've shown you how to make a cream. And the only ingredient, cashew and water. And the rest are spices. So that's pretty good. Actually, when I discovered the power of cashews when I became vegan, I mean, I was like, oh, okay, I can eat like I used to. Okay, good. What's next? Well, okay, talking about French, we use butter. We use butter. If you can go here. I have two butters that I always have in my kitchen. Is Myoko's butter and Earth Balance. It comes either in a tub that you can spread or like in little sticks. Those are my favorite butter. If I eat it like butter on a piece of bread, which I love, I would use Myoko's or like a piece of butter, on top of pasta or rice or something. So I would use Myoko because I think the taste is the closest to the dairy. Actually, I did a blind test with my mom, who is absolutely not vegan and very French. So she would not believe of any of my butters. So I did a blind test with her, and she liked this one better. So I was so happy. The other one, Earth Balance, is really great. I use it for cooking. I use it when I need, to stir something. Like instead of oil, I would use sometimes butter in baking. I mean, that's what I use. So usually I have them in stick, but sometimes spreadable too. I'm trying to make it myself. I did succeed a couple of times, and I wanted to show it to you, but was not. I was not able to do it, or good. Open enough, reliably enough to show it to you. Actually, I want to show you a book where I get a lot of those ideas from Miyoko. It's called The Homemade Vegan Pantry. The mayo recipe come from there. She has a lot of good things. So that's a really good book if you like to do your own staples. So I think now I'm going to show you to talk about the yogurt. So yogurt, so another dairy product. I'm going to show you the one you can buy. I mean, there is, same as milk, a lot of choices. Here I have the one from Forager. They use cashew milk because cashew is, again, very rich, so very nice in the yogurt. You will find a lot of different. This is one that Carrie brought. It's just something with flavor. I'm not buying those anymore. I'm actually making my own yogurt because it's so easy to do. So I want to show you how I do that. So 6 hours ago, I made some yogurt, and I want to show you the results. By the way, this is my yogurt maker. Don't love, this is really my yogurt maker. I don't like spending money on kitchen tools too much. So this is an isotherm bag. This one is again from Trader Joe, and then I have a towel in it. I'm making basically insulation. And let's see. So this is the yogurt, and you see it's not liquid anymore.
Wow.
So I'm showing the end product right now, and so this is the yogurt I just made 6 hours ago. I'm going to start a batch with you now that will be ready in 6 hours, which means we have to stay up till midnight. I'm going to put that in the fridge to stop the culture from going on. So let's do that. Okay, has any one of you made yogurt? I mean, even with dairy milk, dairy yogurt? Anybody familiar with the process of making yogurt?
Mary Alice says yes.
Okay. So this is very, very similar. Just pushing all these out of the way. Okay, so this is exactly the same process. You take milk, and again, I'm going to use my favorite soy milk. and you warm it to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. You put the yogurt culture in it, and then you keep it for about 6 hours at that temperature. And this is why my high-tech milk machine comes into play. And that's so. Well, so because I like my yogurt to be very rich, I'm going actually to add cashews to it. So it's even creamier. So I'm putting 2/3 of a cup of raw cashews again. I'm putting a quart of soy milk. So basically, I'm doing what we did with water, but except I'm putting the soy milk instead. So this is why I didn't clean the blender. It is the same content. Close that. And then see you in a minute. So I have basically enriched soy milk with cashews. I'm bringing that to the stove. Pouring them in my pan, my saucepan. And so I have a thermometer here because what's really important is the temperature. And I want it to come to 110 degrees, very precise, because this is the favorite temperature for the little yogurt culture to develop. So while this is going, and it should be pretty fast, the way you get your vegan culture is two ways. You can get it from another vegan yogurt. So either you buy from the store or you know me and I give you some. And then once you have your yogurt going, you just use some of the previous batch to start this batch. Okay, so here I have actually 3 tablespoons of the previous batch. Otherwise, if you don't, you could also buy vegan yogurt cultures. It comes in little powder that you would put, in water, and they will, start to be alive again because they are living creatures. Yes. Almost there. We are 110. Up. Okay, so now I'm removing this. I switch off the heat and I'm putting my culture in it. So 3 tablespoons for the quantity of milk I add. And again, I will share that recipe with you guys. Whisk that thoroughly so the culture are everywhere. Now they're starting to wake up and be happy and have all that food. And now I'm pouring that into jars. Let's see if I don't make a mess. Makes about 2 small jars.
Is that each jar, what, 2 cups?
Yeah, those I believe are, I don't know. Yes. Okay, then I close. I like those are leads that I bought. They are in plastic. I can reuse them many times. Okay, so now this is hot. This is warm. I bring my yogurt maker, and I'm going to put my warm jars in there. Tuck them in. Maybe you want to see from the top. I'm ready to tuck them in like babies, so they are nice and warm. Okay, you see that? I'm closing this, putting that in a place where there is not too much draft. But now, I mean, we are in the summer, so that's not a big issue. So here my Kancher kitchen is good. And I'm going to start a timer for 6 hours. In 6 hours, I will come and get what you just saw.
So
it's
midnight.
really going to be midnight. Yeah, I didn't thought about it. Okay, so here you go. I mean, I made a plain yogurt. I like to make plain yogurt. Of course, you could add sugar in the process or, flavors. I personally like it to have it plain because I add the flavors when I eat it. I either jam or I put fruits and then I can use that yogurt, in a dish, like Indian dish or something. Okay, so we have made the yogurt. I'm looking at the time. We have like a couple of minutes left. I really want to show you the chicken. Yeah. So I'm just going to say a word about cheese. I mean, well, actually, we could go there. So I want to show you the cheese that I use in my kitchen. Nutritional yeast is actually the way I add cheesy taste into a lot of my dish, in lots of my sauce, like I did for the white sauce. But if I want to do, something on top of a pizza, or I like those mozzarella shred. BioLife is a really tasty brand. It's from Greece. They make a really good product. They have actually a very nice feta. I was not able to find it this morning, but really good. If you want to make a Greece cheese sandwich kind of thing, you can buy their slice. Or the Chow slice. That's another brand that's really tasty. I think Kerry's husband.
That's his new favorite. He puts it on tortillas every morning for breakfast.
Okay. And then you put it on the pan? And
puts it in a pan or puts it in the microwave for seconds, and he likes the smooth melting
so that's
consistency.
Is one of the challenge of plant-based cheese is the melting, because they don't have casein, and the casein is a special protein that melts and stretch. But I mean, there's a lot of progress being made. Those two are right now kind of the best. But there is a lot of, work being done on it. If you like Parmesan, on top of things, I love the one from Follow Your Heart. And then if you like, this is a mozzarella. Actually, on pizza, this is what I use. This is liquid. So it's a bit like the eggs coming in liquid form. Well, that's the cheese coming in liquid form. So they solve the melting part because it's already in that form, but it's brown and bubble exactly like cheese, which is really nice. So that's from Miyoko's Creamery. And then, cheese actually, the one I like, and that's maybe because it's French, it's boursin. It's like a spreadable cheese with a lot of garlic and parsley. I grew up with that, so it's a bit special. There is a lot of spread cheese out there, but actually you can make your own also. I'm not going to demo that, because we don't have the time anymore, but it's basically you use nuts. You make a cream with the nuts, cashew mostly, almonds. You can make also nacho cheese. Just remember, we have that nacho cheese I want to show. I made that with cashews and carrots. Let me show.
What brand was that tub of spreadable cheese? That was
That's boursin. Okay, let me show you. It's you can find it at Trader Joe's, Sprouts. I don't know if they have it at your old food. And what?
The main one is not dairy.
Yeah. So
Yes.
make sure it's a dairy free. It's new that they are making a dairy free.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay. So I made a natural cheese just to show you. So it's using cashews and carrot as the base, but of course, you know, I added onions and tomatoes. So I just want to show it to you. It went in the oven and baked in the oven. But look at that. And you know, you take your tortilla chips and dip in there, and I mean, you have like a really tasty appetizer. Or if you're like Peter and I, this is a dinner.
You guys just
Exactly. Yeah, one last word about cheese. If you really try to make a cheese board, I don't think we are there yet. I mean, there is a lot of good cheese out there. I'm also very picky on cheese, but there is a few new companies to look for. So I think I will stop the class here. If you have a lot of questions, please ask now. And what I want to do is, if you have 5 more minutes, I want to show you the chickens. Is that good? Yeah, but for question first.
Yeah, do we want to unmute everyone?
No, because
No.
I'm going to, yeah,
Okay.
so if you can read the
All right,
question.
if anyone has any quick questions before the chickens are shown off.
Or you can, you all know my email address
Yeah.
also. So I'm happy to, all right, well, let's go see the chickens.
Yeah, it says yes to seeing the girls.
Okay. So basically, well, let's go there. I can talk about them when we are with them. So they're in the garage. Let's see if the internet follow us.
Yeah, let's see if they're out of their cage. Yes, they are.
Oh my goodness. Here are the troublemakers. Hi, guys. Hi. So this is Athos and Porthos. They've been rescued from an egg farm on Saturday, actually. So very, very new. They come from an organic cage-free farm, which basically means they are all like in a big warehouse. And oh my goodness, they are so friendly and curious. Actually, I rescued three of them. One is at the hospital right now. Does it work? Okay.
It's looking good.
And so one is at the hospital because she has a problem. She's, you know, she's going to be fine. She got and will come back home on Friday. As you can see, they are not afraid of people very much. You guys want to say hi? No? Can I pick you up? Oh yeah. Here we go. I'm coming close to you so they can see her. So this is Athos. So you know, they come from this factory farm, and I don't know if you can see, but they are, you know, debeaked. So the tip of their beak is cut. What are you doing there? Yeah, and yeah, they have, you know, they've been picking at each other, and she has a little eye issue, but she's doing good. Do you eat eggs? No. Well, well, I eat the eggs I show you. I don't eat their eggs. The eggs they lay are actually hard-boiled and fed back to them because it's full of the nutrients they lost laying the eggs. Yeah.
And they're in the garage because they're in front.
Yes, and they're in the garage because they really arrived this weekend. You guys want that? This is some scratch.
So they're quarantined for how long?
They're quarantined probably for at least 2 weeks. They were kind of full of parasite when we got them. And they have, you know, we want to make sure they don't bring any disease to our other flock outside. So we're making sure they are fine. Normally they should be contained in that little pen, but they show their escape abilities. So the garage is a bit more mess than it's supposed to be.
How long does it take to integrate them to the other girls?
So once they are healthy, we are going to do a visual introduction where they are going to be, we have a guest cook. where basically they are going to have a fence where they can meet the others without hurting each other. Because in the chicken world, there is this pecking order. Nobody is equal. Everybody is on a hierarchical ladder. So we are going to do a visual introduction for at least a week, so they can do all their positioning, their show off there. Ouch! That's my finger. And that helps a lot into the introduction. And then we go supervise, put them together. Let me show this way, guys. You want some? Yeah.
Their combs are really pretty.
Yeah, so they're pretty, but if you can see, they are kind of pinkish
Mm-hmm.
and not really red. And that's because they were indoor. So in that cage-free farm, they were, in this big warehouse without getting the sun on there. I think this one has some vision issue because she's picking at my hand and not the treats. Yeah, I know. Okay, here we go. So you've met two of our rescue.
How do we get the recipes?
There is another one that actually is even more recent. She arrived to us yesterday, but she's outside, so I won't be able to show her to you. Her name is Tinkerbell. She's a tiny, tiny little chicken, but really, she's less than a pound. And she got rescued by Gotlandia, which is another sanctuary in Sebastopol. And she ended up, she's going to live with us here. So you will see pictures. So please follow us also. I think
you will email the recipes to everyone?
Yes, I will email everyone that signed up. If you have not signed up, you just send me an email, and I have your email address.
You hear that, everybody?
And did you send them the link to La Cuisine de Chlorophylle?
I did.
Also, one last thing is we are a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So we are all volunteers, and none of us, are working for money here. So any donation you gave when you signed up to that class, or if you want to donate now, that goes directly into rescuing those chickens in their care. So, for example, the chickens we have right now in the hospital, she has a big medical bill. So, every donation helps. So thank you very much. And I hope you did enjoy that class.